with the Prime Minister this afternoon and just went a little over time. The importance of a gathering like this is really to voice the issues that you have that concern you, and rightfully so, and correctly so, so that the dislocation that you may have will be minimized to the greatest extent. And from that point of view, I'm sure that the team here and myself will value the feedback that you're giving to us. This meeting is one of many I've held over the last 2 years with a very similar team across the country. Wherever we have projects going on like this, we hold meetings like this. In fact, at the moment, we have 25 other bridges across the country under construction. And I want to tell you that, except in the case of one bridge, and I'll tell you why that bridge is behind time, all the bridges are ahead of time. And the contractors have been performing very good on those bridges. The bridge that is behind time is for a very simple reason. There was a lady who was pregnant next to the bridge. And when we started to do work on the bridge, we offered her another location, which we said we would pay for, and where she could stay until she had the baby. And her husband refused to move for that particular point in time. And therefore, we spent about a month waiting for her to have the baby. Having had the baby, she came back to the house, the very house, and then when we started to do the sheet piling, she said that the noise was too much and it's affecting her. And again, that's in Sister's Road. The bridge has been held up because she would not accept alternative accommodation while we continue to work on the bridge. And perhaps it's an extreme case, but I'll tell you what are some of the things we face in terms of how we deal with these situations. Now, a very interesting point was made by the gentleman here. I forgot your name, sir. But you made a very interesting point about the Knight's Bridge project. I believe Mrs. McIntosh called me one late night and said that this bridge had a big hole in it and the bridge was about to collapse. Within a couple of days, you mobilized a contractor, which none of you probably know. It's a contractor that probably, again, the name is not known because the contractor is a southern contractor, but it's not to me to say that the contractor is not a competent contractor. And that contractor, Hanif Mohammed and Sons, is that the name, right? Came in and put in a Bailey Bridge in no time at all and repaired that bridge. That bridge cost us $2 million. And we were able to do that work within time and within the budget set. So to suggest that the contractor might not be a competent contractor because he's not known to you is not really a fair comment. Our contractors are contractors who must be pre-qualified. They go through a rigorous pre-qualification, including the ability to finance the projects, to deal with OSHA issues, to deal with all the many issues that are involved in construction. And if you read their contracts, which are generally FIDIC contracts, you will see that they are subject to very severe penalties for violation of the contracts as well as for delays and so on. They don't work by themselves. In the case of the contract here, they're working under BBFL. Right, who is one of the main consultants who is now supervising, I believe, about 7 of the bridges that we are doing in the country. Perhaps you have not appreciated the change that has taken place at the level of the Ministry of Works in terms of what we do and how we do things. Many people would not probably really understand that after 2 years of very steady work, that the Point Fortin Highway is 50% complete. And that we are about to open major sections of the highway. And people would not understand that. And a highway that has 26 bridges to be built. 26 bridges. And most of that work is being done by local contractors. The names that you know as contractors are people like Kusas and the Jusampos and so on. But it doesn't mean that there are not other contractors who are very competent in doing this work. For example, if I use the name for you, contractor who built the one in Mayfield Road when the Mayfield Road Bridge broke down. You probably would never have known the name of Durability Construction. You probably would never have known the name Durability. But Durability built that bridge in record time and did it very well to all the international standards. So I wanted to raise the issue and answer some of the, give you some assurances, not really answer the question, some assurances about the competence of the contractors who are going to be doing these works. They had a good suggestion made is how much of this work can be completed during the holiday period. And this is something that we are trying to do all the time. Just to give you an example, in 2011, the children went home for summer vacations, and when the children came back on the first day of school, a new complete school was built at a cost of $7 million in Riversdale in South Trinidad. That is the kind of competence that now exists among our contractors, and sometimes we tend to put down our own people, not recognizing that we are at a new level of performance in the country. So that's a very good suggestion. And what I will tell my team is as much of the heavy infrastructural work that could be done, if it could be done during this period when school closes and when school reopens, it will be to reduce the amount of people moving in terms of the traffic and what have you. I heard a lot about the Bailey Bridge. Yes, we do use Bailey bridges, and we're using Bailey bridges in several areas right now to accommodate the traffic while we build. And if it is that after looking at all the evidence that is presented here, all the ideas, and that if a Bailey bridge is possible, we surely are going to look into the possibility of a Bailey bridge. Ours is not to create disruptions in people's lives beyond what there should be. And I have, in fact, discussed this, and that's one of the questions I asked, because it was raised by the small team that had come to see us about the possibility of a Bailey bridge. So it's something that someone has volunteered, Dr. Deet, I think it is, has volunteered to speak to the team about, and I'm sure that the team is willing to listen to what has been said. I want to congratulate the team. I know, in sessions like this, they feel under pressure, but they have sat here and listened, and they ought to be congratulated for withstanding the pressure and trying to answer the questions. I know it feels to sit there and take the pressure, but this is part of the experience that we have. The other matter that was raised was trying to widen on the south side here of the road. I understand while probably may be done, there will be some challenges as to where the river is, because the river is, I understand, at the very edge. So that is something that will have to be looked at in getting that done. But I think it's an idea that is worthy of looking into. And again, we'll go back to the design, the drawing board, and see how this can be accommodated, if it will in fact ease the flow of the traffic. The other question that I can't answer that was raised is, would this bridge, the one that we are going to be widening, will be able to take the amount of traffic? It's a good question, and I think that the engineers are in the best position to answer that. And I'm told that it would be able to take the existing traffic. I think that if you want to see something like this that we are doing now, there are two bridges that you can visit where we have repaired and expanded bridges like this. One is in St. Madeleine, and the other one right now is on the Rivulet Road in going to the Point Lisas. We're doing very similar kind of work in that area right now. The question of the construction of a footpath, that is something that I heard that were one of the issues raised, and that is something that you can look at. And finally, the environmental issues. We are very tough on the matters of the environment. I'm sure we'll be able to deal with that. The contractor, if you wish to visit, anyone, a team wish to visit work that has been done by the contractor, I will make that possible for you also. There's nothing hidden here, there's nothing under the table here. This is transparent, and I'm sure Mr. J.Douglas will arrange for the contractor to visit. You can visit the contractor's yard, you can see the equipment the contractor has, and everything else. I'm sure that we're going to make that possible. BBFL would have had to do that, the Ministry of Works would have had to do that. So, if there are any other issues that you'd like to ask that I can answer, I'm very willing to answer at this stage. But again, I want to thank you for being here. This is an important meeting. And only by exchanging our views, we'll arrive at mutually agreeable positions in which we can live, at least over the next 2 months while the work is undertaken and completed. But the reality is that the Coblentz Bridge has to be reconstructed. And that is something that we ought to do. In everything else, my friends, there's going to be some level of displacement, and for 60 to 70 or 75 days, I think it's something that we ought to really consider.
1 year. 1 year. 1 year.
1 year. But then I talk about the initial stages while we are doing. I'm speaking about the initial stages while we are doing the initial work and what have you. But I'm sure that we are going to be able to finish that bridge ahead of time. I'm very, very sure of that. We are going to be able to do it ahead of time.
It's a 2-month period exempt for the highway bridge, so it can actually be completed within the school holidays. And within that time, since Mr. Piggott wasn't actually prepared with any, not even a bare minimum of traffic data, can you please get stuff together? So you put a proper traffic plan in place. With the school holidays, it will mean the traffic is much reduced, and we can have a reasonable project and then go on with the one, the long-term one after that. That can't be too much to ask.
No, it's not too much to ask at all, and I'm going to ask the team to look at it.
Can I say something? Sure. That bridge we're going to that St Anns will widen. We're not going to close the existing bridge while reconstruction is taking place. That bridge will remain open.